All right, so we got a question here. It's how do you exactly make recruiters speak with you or meet you? Okay, so I'm guessing this is pertaining to headhunters, and this was this is an interesting experience. So again, I reached out to a number of people that I found. I went on Wall Street Oasis, just searched headhunters, major headhunters, private equity related. Um, and found a massive list, found contacts, and I submitted resumes through the black box on their websites. Got the standard email back that someone will reach out to me. So when more than a week or so, I found somebody's contact either via LinkedIn or on the company's website and reached out to that person. And what I did is I came from a perspective where I knew what I wanted to do. I think one of the best things that I learned and the best advice that I got when I started reaching out to headhunters is don't act like you're not sure what you want to do. Especially if you're doing a career transition and switching careers, don't come into the experience saying, "Oh, well, I'd like private equity, or I'd like venture capital, or I like hedge funds, or maybe I could work in trading or derivatives or something." Be very specific in terms of what you want to do and why you want to do it. And I think that was the easiest way for the headhunter to get comfortable to be able to meet with me was I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I told them, I said, I want to work in private equity. And here's why. I've had experience in it, albeit, and I didn't, go into this detail with them, but I said I had an internship in private equity. I really enjoyed my experience. I can speak clearly about what private equity does, and I know why I want to do it. And I think I have the skills, albeit a number of them are more intangible skills, to be able to have a successful career in private equity. And I think that allowed me to get my foot in the door, to let the headhunters be able to understand where I was coming from and why they would want to present me to one of their clients. And that's the other thing you have to understand is headhunters are working for these private equities or these hedge funds, and the headhunters need to bring them a number of clients, a number of resumes, and they have to be good resumes. The headhunter doesn't want to present the hedge fund or private equity with a bunch of resumes, a book, and they're filled with people who don't have any experience and don't have any reason why they should even be considered for a job. So if you want the headhunter to stick their neck out for you, so to speak, you need to be able to articulate why you would be really good at this job, why you have experience, and why, most of all, you want this job. They're not going to stick their neck out for you, and then 2 weeks later you don't answer, and then all of a sudden they find out you're working in derivatives trading somewhere else. That's not what they want to do, and they're not going to stick their neck out for you. So having the ability to articulate exactly why and exactly where you want to go, especially when you're switching careers, was probably the number one thing that allowed them to not only want to meet with me, but want to show me to their clients. And I think, so while I wait for the next question, I'll keep going on this. So the headhunters, another challenge to the whole process was I'm in Boston. A number of the headhunters and the majority of the jobs in private equity are in New York. And I wasn't looking to transition and move to New York. It wasn't an option for me from a personal perspective. And I just started settling into Boston. I really like the city. And that became another hurdle that I had to go through, where being proactive was the only solution. So a number of the headhunters are located in New York. The majority of their clients and then the majority of the private equities that they were working for were in New York. So I wouldn't have gotten a job or even had them stick their neck out for me for a place in Boston if I wasn't being proactive with them and I was the first person they thought of when something came across their plate that had an opportunity in Boston. And that was the exact experience I had with the other offer that I ended up actually not taking. So this was a fairly large hedge fund, and I was meeting with them, and the headhunter located in New York, had it come across her plate that there was an opportunity in Boston. And I had been speaking with her for about a month at that point, probably once or twice a week. And when it came across her desk, she said she emailed me 15 minutes later. And this is a very large, well-known headhunter firm. And for me to be the first person that comes across her or comes to mind when an opportunity in Boston comes across her plate, it would have only happened if I was being proactive and I was reaching out to her and I was making sure that I was doing everything I possibly could. And I think that became an asset of mine. It reiterated the fact that obviously I was serious about what I wanted to do, and I was almost on the point of badgering her. But I was serious about the transition and I wanted to do it. And so she knew that I wouldn't stand the company up if she put my resume and got me an interview. I wouldn't bail on them. I wouldn't be a no-show to the interview, which is something that obviously hurts her reputation as a headhunter. So I think that's another thing that was really important, and an example of how being proactive was very beneficial, especially being outside of New York or San Francisco or say Houston if you're looking for energy. Those types of cities, or even Chicago. Those cities, and Boston is no small city in terms of alternatives, but a number of the headhunters obviously are located in New York or say San Francisco. So it became another challenge, but again, being proactive to definitely bridge the gap and allowed me to get the opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I would have been another name in the pile and not somebody that they thought that they could trust.